Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Level Grinding, the Daily Hustle, day 72. I am Rachel Bastarash-Bogan. I'm an entrepreneur, a video editor, and an author here in Denver, and every day I make these videos to show you how I'm building my business from the ground up, starting at the very bottom. Most people make their books and their videos 10 years after they've achieved their business success, and they forget the day-to-day little struggles that happen when you're trying to get things off the ground. Now, I'm not working this week. This week I have been on vacation, taking a holiday with my husband and enjoying Christmas and New Year's. So we have been going through and dealing with a bunch of little household things, such as cleaning out closets, getting our car emissions tested done, taking care of a whole bunch of details that have just stacked up over the course of the past few months. I am continuing our closet cleaning project. If you didn't see that video, make sure to click here and watch it from yesterday. The thing that I'm going through right now is a box full of papers and things that we have been collecting over the past few years to put in our scrapbook. We've been waiting to do this for 7 years, so I have 7 years worth of papers to go through. Yeah, this will be a lot of fun. Alrighty, so thankfully we already did some of this work earlier, the last time we packed this away. We've stored all of our pictures and paraphernalia and things that we want to put in our scrapbook, and they've been dated since we started doing this. The reality is that since moving to Denver, we had a whole stack, like, all in the front that was not properly labeled. So we finally have gone through. We've got all this stuff ready to go, properly labeled, like, what was this thing, what did we do then, you know, just little memories like this. So the beauty of it is that now when we get our scrapbook, which hopefully we're going to do soon, we can just start, pull out a thing, and start scrapbooking. Yeah, and this is how far back I need to go, like 2010, and this is just for Robo and me. Technically, this big fat guy, this is me from high school and beyond. I got work to do. I don't exactly have a strict one thing in, one thing out rule when it comes to thrifting. However, I do like the idea of it because it does help keep things from getting too out of control when it comes to, like, what you're keeping in your house, what you're doing. You know, and so we just went thrift store shopping for clothes the other day. Getting all of this stuff out of my closets, even though it's not clothes, still makes me feel great. And see, all of this stuff. Goodwill. But not this box. This is my box of my husband's tools for fixing the car and stuff. So we don't want to get rid of that. Our organizing is done. At least for right now. We've got a little bit more stuff that we want to do in the kitchen, but we'll get to that tomorrow. Right now, it is Friday night. And if anybody who has been watching my show knows, Friday night is our night to go out and go grocery shopping.
Yes?
I love you. That is all. We are home from grocery shopping. It is nice when we're able to get everything done pretty quickly. Robo is in the middle of making supper, which is really nice because I don't have to worry about it. That's awesome. And the other fun thing that's happening tonight is that our friends Jenny and David are coming over. So we have our table set. The food that Robo's making is definitely going to feed all four of us, and we're going to have a fun evening hanging out. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be the end of today's video. It might. You might see other things. We'll find out. So something I thought I'd mention, simply because I have the time, something that Robo and I do every single week before going grocery shopping is to make a list of the meals that we're going to eat this week. This helps us prepare a grocery shopping list that is going to be specifically tied to the meals that we have. Now the reason why we do this is because it saves us money. Robo and I budget $100 a week in order to buy groceries. In an expensive city where we have to pay for rent, that's actually really, really critical to keep to that budget because it's what enables us to have money for things like rent, for going out to eat, other fun things like that. So this list ends up becoming really important. The other thing that we do is that we try to make as many of our meals as possible. Rather than buying boxed meals, this saves a lot of money as well. Another secret that we do all the time is to buy meat on the manager special. This is not meat that is bad. It is meat that just simply would not last much longer on the shelf. And so this ends up being a really great way for us to get meat. If the prices are great, we'll get a lot of it and throw it in the freezer. And then things like this also happen. This is this is a 9.5 pound butt portion ham steak, and we got it for $9.12. Now, there is no way in the world Robo and I are going to eat that baby by ourselves, so I'm going to slice this thing up and make chunks out of it, and it's going to go into the freezer and, you know, allow us to be able to eat a whole lot of ham later, but for really, really cheap. That's basically 88 cents a pound, and the beauty of that is that you know, when you do the cost per meal, like this is going to easily get us, oh good grief, 8-9 meals. Like basically we're paying, you know, 99 cents a pound for meat for a meal. That's 50 cents each for a pound of meat. We don't normally eat a pound of meat. We eat like a half a pound. So that's a quarter, like 25 cents for the meat for a meal. And when you are working on $100 for 7 days, that's $14.28 a day to eat on for 3 meals for 2 people. You really got to start thinking about doing math like that. The whole conversation about food and how much it costs again goes back to that concept of needing to know your numbers. How much money does it take for you to live every single month, every single week? Robo and I keep our food cost as fixed as possible. And every once in a while we do go over that $100. For example, this week we went over by $3. Not so bad. But we try to keep that down as much as possible, because the more that we spend not on our groceries, we spend only the amount that we decide to spend on our groceries, that's more money that we have for other things that we want to do in our life. Things like traveling, things like being able to buy books, things like putting gas in the car and being able to take a ride and just get out of the city for a little bit. If we didn't budget, we wouldn't be able to do this. If you're just going into the grocery store and just buying whatever looks good, you're not necessarily going to be able to keep to a budget very well. Another tool that Robo and I used in order to make sure that this $100 a week budget actually sticks is to shop only with cash. We do not use a debit card. There's something about watching physical dollars leaving your hand that becomes this real visceral reaction when you're like, oh my gosh, I have only 10 left. I have to make this work. It helps you make better decisions. Yes, you can do the math on your debit card. We have done that in the past. It is possible. But the reality is that it's much easier to go over on a debit card because you don't actually see the money leaving your bank account. It's just dollars and it's just numbers, and unless you're really good with math, I am not, doing it in your head on the fly or even on your phone doesn't really work, because you round up things, you say, oh, it's okay, like it's not that big of a deal, it's not that big of a deal. But when you are working with cash, it becomes a really big deal. So if you are trying to get on a budget and you're trying to control your spending habits, I highly recommend going with cash, whether it's cash for groceries, cash for your coffee budget, cash for anything that you're going to be shopping out and about in town, use cash. It is a much, much easier way to control your spending than trying to do it on a budget, on paper, with a debit card that you balance later when you are trying to figure out how much money did you spend for that week, and oh my gosh, where did it go? So we had a really great evening with our friends Jenny and David. It was great just getting to hang out with them, chat, enjoy some good food and some conversation. Now it is time to go to bed. Today's video has been kind of all over the place. A bit of organization, a bit about food prep, a bit about budgeting. Either way, I hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, give me a thumbs up. If you want to talk to me about how you like to save money on your grocery shopping, any ideas that you have, I'm always looking for more ideas on how to save money. So go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. I make these videos every single day so you can see how I'm hustling to build my business. Right now I'm on vacation, but back to work is going to start on Tuesday next week, and I'm getting ready for it this weekend by doing all of these things such as grocery shopping, such as cleaning, so that I can start 2018 off of the bank. I will see you all tomorrow for day 73. Ciao!